delimitation, modification to the timing, the shielding,
So the shielding is added there.
yeah, the shielding, I mean, we can add that if you want. There's a sense of doing that.
And including the limitation.
Yeah, include that. I think that's it.
Thank you, and I apologize again, Jeff.
Okay. No, that's fine.
Okay. Anything else? So how do you want to do this? You have to read this out or entertain a motion? I do not want to read it.
Well, we've got
Entertain a motion.
two boards here. You can proceed first one or the other.
So we're talking about actually voting now.
Now, if we are going to vote, wait a minute, we're not done.
Okay.
You want to add in that condition we just talked about?
Well, we do, and we have to make another change to them. It would go under F. And one of the things that I think Randy was saying, we had added last time, the storage tank shall be filled and refilled solely by tanker trucks, and shall not be connected to the municipal water district. But now that's not true, right? Because you are having some pylon, you said, Randy, for a connection to it, for topping it off.
How does the fire department?
I don't want to put a condition in there that's contrary to what you're saying. I mean, obviously, the initial filling of the tank is going to be done by tanker truck. And, you know, I don't know how much has to get added by evaporation versus, obviously, if there's a significant drawdown for some reason, you're going to want to refill that by tanker truck.
When you have
For
to
normal
discuss.
evaporation, our plan was to, actually not be connected to the city line because we didn't think the city wanted us to be connected to the domestic line.
I mean,
Okay?
yeah.
So we were planning on using either a tanker truck or just a hose to refill the tank that is evaporated just over time, not a total refill of the tank. So, I mean, I think that we need.
It's not a pipe connection, but it could be a
Correct.
temporary hose connection.
Correct.
So it's not hard
Off
pipe
the muni,
hose.
off the muni.
Correct. After the meeting.
So it won't be an actual connection, it will be an ability to
It-
tie a hose in
Correct.
temporarily.
Correct.
So,
But it's,
Ties with my general concerns about water on this site. so-
Well, on that one, I
fill in
think
the
you're
top
right.
of the tank?
So a whole bunch, usually, yes, it is sometimes.
What would happen if it was drawn down because of a fire in the district and it had to be replenished?
I mean, that's what we're trying to figure out.
You're right.
We would need to do tanker refills.
And would that be, would the district pay for that? Would you guys pay for that? Do you get into that? I mean, it would seem as though it should not be your expense. But obviously, you gotta get it refilled, because otherwise, you don't have your water tank.
I'll give you an example of like what other districts do is just that if they pull water off a tank, the fire department does, they will go and refill that, as soon as possible. Usually they go to another area, draft from there and they'll refill it.
And
I'm sorry, yes, sorry.
so, can they use the same water that they would draw from ponds and stuff like that?
That would be more on, yeah.
That's what's available in the area, yeah.
So that could be
We
used to
can't
refill
really
your
commit
tank?
though on
Yeah,
behalf of the fire.
The fire tank is not potable water, which is why it's not proposed to be direct connected to the county system. It may by virtue of what's available, be filled with potable water initially,
Mhm.
but it's going to get funky quickly. You know, it's just gonna be water sitting there waiting for a fire. It will not be drinkable. So, but we are anticipating that, you know, you're gonna have some evaporation. It may need to be topped off minimally. There's a significant issue, we'd be back to a tanker, and I would like to think that the district would be willing to refill that tank if they needed to use the water from the tank, so, but.
Is there any requirement as to the clarity of that water being able to, versus it's not being able to get through the
It's gotta
sprinkler
be wet.
system? Well, no, I'm not talking about getting through the sprinkler system.
No, you're right.
No, the answer is no. I mean, I mean, you can't fill it with, you know, mud.
Right,
But, yeah.
The typical water that is in fire trucks.
So, Heidi, couldn't we just make the connection to the system and put a backflow preventer on that? And as well as I understand the concern by the fire company as far as drawing too much water too quickly and therefore drawing down the pressure within the system, but you could provide a flow restrictor on that line as well. And that way it could be completely automated and you don't have to worry about anybody checking the tank to make sure that it's full.
There's lots of options, but generally when you get into the design stage, that's when you work together.
Understood, yeah, but I'm just,
That'd be the preferred method.
I would think that it would. And that way, nobody has to monitor the tank and it's just filled automatically. And understanding the concern regarding the existing district, we put a flow restrictor on it. Therefore, we're limiting the rate of what that water is being drawn from the water system, so therefore you're not going to find that pressure drop throughout the existing system.
To make up the
makeup. That's
make
as
up
far as
the evaporated water. That doesn't need to be a big line at all.
Right.
It's a small line.
Correct.
So how's this for language?
Well, wait a minute,
Oh, sorry.
I'll ask him the salamander question.
Go ahead.
Alright, so we'll have the language that we have in F now. What we added is the storage tank shall be filled and refilled solely by tanker truck and shall not be directly connected to the municipal water district, except for replacing water lost due to evaporation. And then a new sentence at the end of that. The water storage tank shall be available to the West Gang Fire Company to draw water for off-site fire emergencies.
So my question is, up to what level, or how far can they draw down before they impact the code requirement of the Ginsberg building? Are they gonna be limited to how much they can pull off that tank?
The answer would be, no. This is, just because this is typically how it's done. Once the fire department's on site, they're gonna be, they have their fire department standard operation procedures. So if they were to, let's say, had to draw all 300,000 gallons down, that would be probably, they would be so appreciative in the first place they had 300,000 gallons to draw out of it. I don't think a fire watch would be that bad until the 300,000 gallons came back. So the answer would be no. It would just be an impairment to that sprinkler system by NFPA 25 red tag permit. So it's a very common accepted law-abiding practice in New York State.
Right.
So, good.
What do we decide?
So that's it. And so what we would have is,
Who's refilling the tank? I'm still confused. Is the applicant or the fire company? Well, we cannot commit the fire company to that without their.
Based on what Ray just said, and I think we would be fine with it, is if we put in a flow restrictor and a backflow preventer, we could tie it to the municipal system, and then the controller automated, other than us keeping an eye on it, having to go out there and turn it.
so we're not putting in the prohibition for a connection except for evaporation.
Yeah, I think if we're going with Ray's option, we would say,
Just take
we
out,
would take that out.
you just take out the reference to no connection to the water district.
Correct, you'd be taking that out.
Just these-
Correct.
We don't wanna say refilled solely or we wanna say primarily.
Probably say initially.
The initial fill will be by the tank.
Initially by tanker truck, and then just add your language about the West End Fire Department at the end.
Alright, let me just reread that whole paragraph. The proposed 316,900 gallon on-site fire suppression water storage tank shall be fully insulated and have a finished color in a gray tone, and shall be fully functional prior to a certificate of occupancy for phase 1 of the project. Storage tank shall be initially filled by tanker truck. Water storage tank shall be available to the West End Fire Company to draw water for off-site fire emergencies. You can't draw down for training exercise.
And then refill.
We kind of took it up, we're just leaving sort of the refilling, leaving broader connections or discretion, if you want something more specific, do you think?
No, that would be fine, because that'll all be reviewed during the building.
Right, the
plan
backflow
process.
preventer will go in as a matter of code.
As well as the storage structure too.
Right.
That could all be reviewed during the building plan review.
Okay, we don't need to put this in condition for that.
And will be connected to the system.
We're just keeping that silent, it's sort of up to them, let them come up with their system on it, as to what they want to do. We're allowing them to connect to it, and they have it, but as Ray said, the code will make sure that the protections are put into the water system that doesn't, have too much of a drain on it.
As well as the backflow preventer as well, which is code,
Right.
code issue as well.
Right, the backflow preventer is because the water in the tank isn't potable, and you don't want that getting into the system.
And that's a common practice, by the way, for all sprinkler systems, it's mandatory.
So these modifications, and I can run through them again, if Fabric wants to go first, is you have the resolution as I handed out today. The only change from Friday's version is the change in the size of the tank from 300,000 gallons to 316.9. We've completed all of the site plan drawings that are referenced. We have Ray and I have gone all over that. Randy's gone over it too. That's the current list with the most recent updated versions. Based on our conversations today, we are modifying paragraph F, condition F, as we just talked about. We are modifying condition G by making it clear that the review can occur within 1 year. It will determine if site lighting may require further mitigation, and the modification would include without limitation the factors that we previously listed. And the only other change is back on O, is that there will be a walkthrough prior to a CO for phase 1 and phase 2. And with those modifications, Mr. Chairman, you're free to make a motion.
Well, I'll ask a member here to make a motion to, for this motion, what do you say, approve this motion?
Make a motion to approve the special exception permit and site plan approval for the Ginsbergs as prepared and presented.
Anybody wanna make that motion?
Scott Coleslaw, I'll make the motion. Just stated.
Judy? Okay, let's have a roll call vote. Yes. Okay, we'll stop that. I'll go back.
Oh, I can't hear.
Virginia voted no.
Yes.
Rick says yes.
Joe
Joe?
Singleton, yes.
Judy?
Yes.
Burton? Sorry?
Yes, with the conditions.
And I'll vote yes. Okay, so it's passed.
So it passes 6-1.
And we'll give it the stamps, stamping all the papers and that has to do.
Okay.
Yeah, entertain a motion to approve the site plan and special permit for the Ginsberg.
I'll make that.
Second?
Second.
Go ahead, Jeff. For the finding of fact.
I vote to approve the, what's the list? Typically, it's just site plan approval, but it's,
No, it's a special permit and
And
site,
site plan.
and
Special
site plan
permit.
approval.
And the mining exception.
And the mining exception permit, right?
Okay, you got it all down there. I think that we've addressed all the issues as far as our town code goes. All the items that have been brought up in the public hearings have been addressed to the best of our ability. As far as our zoning code and the issues related to that, we've had our zoning board address all the variances that were required, and we'll approve the project.
Larry, yeah.
Yeah, I'll pass for the first round.
No, you got Larry, you got it,
I'm sorry, what was it? Oh,
Go ahead, use your best judgment. You're a veteran member of the planning board.
Well, so my intention is to vote with the majority of this board.
Vote how you feel that.
What's that?
Vote the facts and your feelings.
Well, I guess the way things stand now, I have to vote no. On account of that 190-28, which I can't accept, the proposed
I can't hear you.
I can't accept the proposed reading of 190-28, which I only became aware of in the last few days.
Can we discuss that?
We're voting. So, Gary, go ahead.
I appreciate the patience shown by the boards and the applicant in this project. It's a big project and we're small towns. There's been great movement, and ultimately it will be a better project because of the planning process. However, at this time, I too am stuck on 190-28 and would need clarity before I'm ready to vote yes, so I vote no at this time.
Dana?
So, I've been generally quiet, but I think that the boards have really done a fantastic job, and I think the applicant has shown a lot of compromise. But I have a foundational issue, and when I read the resolution, I can't agree that the application meets the requirements of 190-17, because I don't think it's in harmony with surrounding land use. So, I'm voting in opposition.
All right.
We spent a lot of time and effort reviewing this application, and the most typical one we had to deal with was something on the board. We've done the negative declaration in secret, we learned a lot in the process here. We also did site visits, and when I read our code, I don't believe that this application meets with our special use requirements. In particular, item C. The proposed use will not have a significant adverse impact on adjacent properties. This can't get past that for several reasons. There's significant visual impacts to the south of the property, and the applicant tried to mitigate that by lowering the site, and they tried to mitigate it by adding vegetation on the south side. They provided a cross-sectional view trying to
illustrate that we were almost completely blocking the view of the building from the south. That does not fully block the view, and that's one of the impacts that is on the neighbors. The second impact is that this is a 24-hour day operation. Many of the high-intensity portions of it are early in the morning, which I don't think is in keeping with being adjacent to a residential property. So those two items put together cause me to believe that this has a significant impact. That is in contradiction to the finding that the ZBA had in there. In their resolution. So I have read their resolution and I do not agree with their finding that it has no impact. So my vote is to deny the application.
Thank you. As everyone knows, my concern all along has been water and water supply. 19023 H, adequacy of fire lanes and other emergency zones and water supply for firefighting purposes. I appreciate the efforts that the applicant has made to get water on site. And I've had spirited discussions with council about rational basis for denial. To me, it does not seem rational to put a building of this size, one of the biggest buildings in Columbia County, maybe the biggest building, in a water district that doesn't have working hydrants. The on-site water provided withstanding, so I can vote no too.
So the motion fails. And then Secretary, you have a decision of a denial. Do you want a more formal motion denying it?
I think we have to.
Well, I think what we'd like to do is flesh out the 19028 argument, because that seems to have been a significant issue for a couple of board members. And I think if we can maybe have the ZBA address that, they can come back and represent the board. And to the extent that we can address the concerns that we've just heard in any way, we'd like to.
And I'm willing to sit down with you guys and clarify this and run this proposal down.
Well, I mean, next we'd need a meeting with Can't Roberts if it's completed at this point.
So, one suggestion I would make to Clavera, and Chuck, feel free to weigh in on this. You may want to put a motion on to hold your approval in abeyance and not make a final until Gent reviews the question of the ZBA and makes a final determination on that, so you can decide if you need to make any other changes to that. Or you can simply finalize it and have a resolution, amend the resolution to provide that any modifications to the project that come through are subject to your further approval.
Well, we would, since you asked me to weigh in, we would like you to finalize it, and I think the state of the law is if we have to deviate from that site plan, we'll be back in front of this board with the modification.
Well, and I would then say is that, amend your approval to finalize it. However, any modifications either to the site plan or any operating conditions that are imposed by Kent would require a modification of the property so that you maintain control and jurisdiction of the issue.
But in the same respect, our voting would be finalized.
Yeah, your voting on this resolution is final. It'll get filed. We'll sign the plans. All those conditions are in place. That's when limitations start running filed. But you would open it up that, if there is any change from the Gent side on it. And obviously, unless Gent planning board ultimately approves it, the project will be built.
Well, I would make a motion that Clover be finalized as far as our decision with
Well, that certainly applies, really, but.
Well, it is final, but I would just make it clear that any modification,
For one thing, I think, I didn't realize that you could do anything other than just say yes or no. I didn't realize you could.
Yeah, I.
Present a rationale, and I think one of my problems with this all along has been that there's one part, mostly the phase one that's in Clover, and there's the other part that's in Ghent. And trying to decide whether I really can make a decision on the basis of the whole project, which is the big part of it is in Ghent. The second problem that I have is that I'm not sure where my responsibility as being a planning board member intersects with what the ZBA has said. I don't think the ZBA should have given the okay for the height. I think this is a monstrous building. But the ZBA did it, and that was their purview. And so that I ended up voting yes because of those considerations. I think now that this is still in the air and that these major problems have been brought up, I don't think I would not want to finalize that vote. I would want to have it innovative to get input from.
That's what votes are. I don't mean to interrupt, but when you take a vote to approve someone's project, it's a final vote.
this is a pretty unique situation.
I totally agree with that, but as you said, if this board doesn't approve it, it doesn't go forward.
No, but the issue also is whether they are complementary and consistent with each other. So the point is right, Chuck is right, it's not a position where you can leave this in the vote. So you're not going to approve the project anymore, you have voted to approve it.
I don't want there to be pressure on Jim to.
Sound like they were.
One of the more independent boards in Columbia County, I believe.
But can we hold our approval in abeyance?
Well, it's a question of whether, it's an odd situation, and I think it is right, because you want to make, your decision on the record as it exists, and as proposed, really is a final decision. And if somebody wants to challenge it, they should challenge it. And similarly, Ginsberg is entitled to some security of knowing that that was a final decision and it's not going to be, reopened on something else. Only if it'll get reopened is if in the course of against deliberations, they come up with a change or a condition that would affect it. The overall operations and the elements that take place within the project. This is a particularly unique situation. So I would say, this is a final vote, but you make it clear, and you do this a second resolution, that should there be any changes in the site plan or conditions approved again, the applicant must return to Claverack to assure that this resolution conforms with the Ghent resolution. Okay, so the stenographer here, he says you can write down by itself. Does that sound?
Can we have somebody make that motion in a second? Second? I'll second. And another roll call vote here. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Is that everyone?
That's everyone.
Yep. So in the meantime, so for subsequent joint meetings, there will be no subsequent joint meetings per se. But what I would anticipate, if you agree, is I would like to have up to 3 members of the Claverack Planning Board attend any of your subsequent meetings that deal with the Ginsberg application.
That's fine.
I'll be there and 2 others. That way we don't have a quorum, so it's not official
And that way we keep up to speed on
That'll
it,
be great, Brian.
okay?
Yeah, makes sense.
All right. So in terms of the existing plans, Brandy, I'll need 2 copies of the maps, and subsequently a DVD to send to our guy Stan, and give him the copy. But we'll do that after everybody dissipates here. I've got my stamps. Spread them out. We can do that. Okay.
Anything else?
So what's your
So I think-
next step?
I think, 190-24E requires us to adopt a resolution rejecting the site plan. The last sentence.
Well, I mean, for all intents and purposes, that's what we've done. They're at, with a commitment to try to work through some issues, I think. Do you want more?
I think you should look at 190-24E, the final sentence, before you say it.
Well, all we've done is voted down the resolution at this point. We haven't rejected the site plan.
You
Is it
haven't
the
approved
site
it,
plan
you haven't
has-
disapproved it either.
You haven't approved it, you don't have an approval, you don't have a motion to deny the site plan, which would preclude your ability to come back necessarily with it.
So we
So
haven't,
to the- so
we
to-
are not disapproving.
You haven't disapproved it, you have not approved it.
Right.
And is the applicant accepting of that?
Well, I don't think they want to show me.
Well, I think we wanna
I
know.
think the applicant has
Change your
indicated.
lip.
Well, I don't want the applicant to be litigating against us, saying, because we failed to take the proper resolution, disapproving it, it's therefore
Okay,
approved.
I got it.
Well, this is
I
what
don't, I
I'm talking
hold
about.
on.
They're willing, I think, to give some time to further explore this question with the ZBA. At least several of you have, expressed a reservation about that. Whether that's going to be enough to turn it around is, we'll have to evaluate that.
With that understanding.
Anything else? Motion to adjourn?
I move we adjourn.
Second?
Second.
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye. 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 Aye.